This is Mac OS Ken.
Bloomberg sees new Apple stuff soon. Orange makes cheddar for Apple in China. And DGA awards for Apple. It is Monday, the 9th of February, 2026. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for growing your presence online. Get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with offer code MacOSKen at squarespace.com/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by NordLayer, working to secure your network and block threats to your business. It might sound scary, securing your network. Oh, not as scary as the threats out there, but all the new equipment and so much money. Yeah, NordLayer does not demand a lot of either. VPN, access control, and threat protection for your team start at just $8 per user per month. As for the new equipment, not necessary. NordLayer is a layer of protection that works with the gear you've already got, desk-bound or mobile, and no matter what platform. And it's getting stronger all the time. NordLayer has partnered with CrowdStrike to bring Falcon endpoint protection to small and mid-sized businesses. That is your business getting enterprise-grade security that's simple to deploy and manage. They got special pricing for teams with 100 seats or more and an exclusive offer for you. Get up to 22% off NordLayer yearly plans, plus 10% on top with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. If you are looking for new Apple products coming soon, here is your latest shot of hopium. Apple 3.0 ran part of a post from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman over the weekend. He sees a ton of stuff on the relatively near horizon. Among the anticipated hardware, a new iPhone 17e powered by last fall's A19 processor is imminent in his estimation. That's expected to bring MagSafe charging, Apple-designed cellular and wireless chips, and the same $599 price tag as the iPhone 16e it will replace. Refreshes for the entry-level iPad and iPad Air are coming soon, according to Gurman. These will be spec bumps with no anticipated design changes except for an OLED screen coming for iPad mini. That said, the bump for the entry-level iPad will be notable. Expected to be powered by Apple's A18 processor, the entry-level iPad will join the Apple Intelligence Parade for the first time. And several Macs are coming shortly, according to the post, including M5 versions of 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros and the MacBook Air. Gurman's also looking for that low-cost MacBook powered by an iPhone-class processor to arrive relatively soon. Expected to be a driving force for switchers, the closest target he'll pin on that is first half of this year. Kind of a busy few days for Gurman. In addition to his new hardware missive, a piece from Bloomberg on Friday had Apple putting competing AI chatbots in your dashboard. Secret people said to know stuff about stuff tell Gurman that the Cupertino company is preparing to allow voice-controlled artificial intelligence apps from other companies in CarPlay. Assuming it happens, the piece says AI providers such as OpenAI, Anthropic PBC, and Alphabet's Google will be able to release CarPlay versions of their apps that include a voice control mode. Of course, opening the door doesn't mean anybody's going to walk through it. Gurman points out that there is no guarantee that outside developers will take advantage of the capability. The Financial Times ran a piece last week highlighting recent positives and negatives for iPhone in China. There have been many on both sides. Among the perceived negatives, ongoing competition from domestic smartphone makers such as Huawei, Vivo, and Xiaomi, tensions between China and the US that drove public sector employees in China to phase out iPhone usage, and a lack of Apple Intelligence approval in and for the Middle Kingdom. Perceived positives for iPhone. Government subsidies that made the entry-level iPhone 17 more affordable to consumers in China. A sales stumble in 2025 by Huawei. Notable upgrades to the iPhone 17 line's battery life, cameras, processor, and display. And an easier compare. 2024 kind of bit in terms of iPhone sales in China, making strong sales in 2025 look Herculean. Really, though, it's the Hermès orange on iPhone 17 Pro that did the trick. I mean, it's not really Hermès. Cosmic orange is what Apple calls it. Still, segments of the public have taken to calling it Hermès orange, according to the Financial Times, for its resemblance to the French luxury brand's signature hue. Seriously, between a third and half of the Financial Times piece is dedicated to that color. It's got IDC Senior Research Director Nabila Bhopal saying that the external obvious changes to design, including the shout-out orange color, pulled out early upgraders. Some in China see wordplay in the color. The word orange apparently sounds similar to the word in Mandarin for success. Certainly the orange model is seen by some as a sign of success. The Financial Times has one social media influencer famous for flaunting his wealth, saying, "Picking orange means everyone knows that this is the new iPhone 17. I'm just a badass." More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for growing your presence online. Do you know exactly what you want your site to do for you? The first two questions Squarespace asks when you go to build your new site are, what's your site about, and what do you want to do with your website? I love that. And I love that the answers from which you choose might open up whole new thought processes. You knew you wanted to promote a physical business, but had you thought of using your site to build a community around it? You knew you wanted a site to showcase your work, but did you think of the many ways that a site could share, sell, or support that work? Squarespace has thought of those, with sites that are distinctive, professional-looking, and easy to build. See what you can do with Squarespace. Start your free trial at squarespace.com/macOSKen. Then when you're ready to launch, use offer code macOSKen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I've been using Squarespace for years. Try it for yourself and see why. Go to squarespace.com/macOSKen for a free trial. Then use offer code macOSKen for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for growing your presence online. Get started today at squarespace.com/macOSKen. The 2026 Swift Student Challenge is now taking applications. Apple Insider says the contest is for students working with Swift Playground 4.6 or Xcode 26 or later. Apple's developer site says winners will be selected based on submissions that demonstrate excellence in innovation, creativity, social impact, or inclusivity. From this esteemed group, Apple says, we'll name distinguished winners whose submissions are truly exceptional and invite them to join us at Apple in Cupertino for 3 incredible days. Apple Insider puts a few more numbers to that. The company is expected to announce 350 winners overall, with 50 deemed distinguished winners. No word on when winners will be announced. Applications close on the 28th of February. A word of warning to Swift Student Challenge entrants. Anonymity is out. 9to5Mac says Apple has updated its app review guidelines to expand the list of user-generated content experiences that can be removed from the App Store without notice. While that list already listed apps used primarily for porn, making physical threats, and objectifying real people, the piece says random or anonymous chat has been added to the list. According to Apple's updated rules, apps with user-generated content or services that end up being used primarily for pornographic content, chat roulette-style experiences, random or anonymous chat, objectification of real people, hot or not voting, for example, making physical threats, or bullying do not belong in the App Store and may be removed without notice. Or they might be left in if the developer is rich enough. This actually sounds like an easy call for child safety. 9to5Mac wonders, though, whether there's another reason. On the other hand, says the piece, it is also possible that the new rule is related to apps such as BitChat, Jack Dorsey's new anonymous peer-to-peer chat app, which has been widely used among protesters, particularly in Nepal, Iran, and Uganda. Given Apple's relatively recent ban of IceBlock and apps like it, 9to5Mac thinks Apple may be broadening its guidelines to give itself more clearly stated wiggle room. Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland, has a question for the Department of Justice. What's up with pressuring Apple and Google to block ICE-related apps like IceBlock and Eyes Up? Politico ran a piece Friday that had the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee launching an investigation into the issue. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Raskin wrote, "The coercion and censorship campaign, which ultimately targets the users of ICE monitoring applications, is a clear effort to silence this administration's critics and suppress any evidence that would expose the administration's lies." So wrote the ranking member. Politico points out that AG Bondi is under no obligation to respond to Raskin's letter. She might want to, though, since Raskin would likely become chair of the Judiciary Committee if Democrats take the House in November, according to the report. The Directors Guild Awards were handed out over the weekend, and Apple grabbed 3 of them. Apple Insider lists the winners, which included 2 shows and a commercial. Kim Gehrig won for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Commercials for I'm Not Remarkable. Rebecca Miller took the trophy for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Documentary Series or News for the episode All This Filming Isn't Healthy from the docuseries Mr. Scorsese, and Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg took Outstanding Directorial Achievement in a comedy series for the episode of The Studio called The Oneer. I don't normally like spoilers, but that episode is mind-blowing every time I think about it. The premise: one of the films being made by the studio in the studio is going for a sunset shot in the Hollywood Hills. Shot's about 5 minutes long. There will be no edits. Working against time, things get screwed up, and they have to reset and reshoot and reset and reshoot and reset and reshoot again. They're supposed to lose the director the next day, so they gotta nail this. I won't tell you whether they get the shot. Here's the thing, though. The 25-minute episode takes place with some of the same restrictions. They're shooting at sunset. They're losing the light. And the whole episode is one single shot. No edits. Truly incredible television. Definitely an award well earned. And finally today, I took some pretty cool pictures of space with my iPhone last fall. But they're about to look stupid thanks to iPhones actually going to space. And Android phones, I guess. Apple Insider ran a piece last week that had NASA saying, "Fine, you big baby astronauts, you can take your stupid phones to work." Not really. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman posted on the Hell site for some reason, NASA astronauts will soon fly with the latest smartphones, beginning with Crew 12 and Artemis 2, We are giving our crews the tools to capture special moments for their families and share inspiring images and video with the world. It would be hilarious if they all used filters and tilt shift, wouldn't it? Hey, what's with all the light leak and lens flare? Oh, my bad. Hipstamatic. Honestly, this sounds like a good time for Apple to bring back clips. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code macOSken-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSken. This show is also sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with offer code macOSken at squarespace.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSken at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.